Boy, Kenny Dillingham has done a heck of a job at ASU. Joining us tonight, August Mendez, who is the Director of NIL Strategy and Player Development. Player Development at Bella Vista Prep. And also Curtis Gregory joins us on Zoom. He's an incoming Missouri State Senator and a former team captain at the University of Missouri and supports NIL laws to protect student athletes and sponsored a state law that allows high school athletes to receive NIL money if they commit to an in-state school. And that seems like a great jumping off point. Thank you both for joining us. It's great to see you. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Curtis?
I can definitely hear you. It's just waiting for the right time to chime in.
Okay, well, this is your time then. Is this a good thing to hand a high school kid, if he commits to an in-state school, a check?
I think absolutely, because in my mind at the University of Missouri, once I committed and then signed those documents, I felt like I was part of the team. So honestly, I kind of copycatted another state. I think Arkansas initially passed something like that before we did in Missouri. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let our SEC rival have a one-up on us. So I want to do something to keep our in-state talent in here in Missouri. And that's how we've been able to build a successful football program.
All right, so basically, August, it sounds like we are talking about an open bidding war for the best athletes, especially in the two big revenue sports, basketball and football. So when these kids sign these NIL deals, should they still be considered amateurs?
I think there needs to be even more transparency in this landscape, I would say, because people are just saying different things, but what actually comes true. And for Curtis, too, I have two players who are at Missouri now, Marcus Allen and Trent Pierce, who are playing basketball there. And I know they chose the program for their development first and education. And I think that's a big deal. And I don't want people to be swayed by the expectations of money and things like that, because it adds pressure, which my study was showing on mental health, which is coming up from this too. On trying to meet, let's say you make a commitment, and could you meet up to those expectations?
All right. Well, this week, billionaire software tycoon Larry Ellison played a key role in Michigan, flipping a top-ranked recruit who was headed to LSU. How did he flip him? With a reported 8-figure NIL deal. So instead of going to the school that they love or a program with a great history, they're now going to the highest bidder. That just, to me, guys, Curtis, why don't you jump in here? It feels a little like the end of college football as we know it.
You know, a little bit of both there in that situation. Obviously, the kid is probably generational talent, as good as what he's looking to be. But what they said earlier, they chose Mizzou because of developmental talent. I wanted to make sure that our coaches had the tools in their toolbox to recruit the best players. And I still need the players to choose the program that's best for them. And that's working out well here at the University of Missouri. I hope it's working out well at other institutions. And, you know, Michigan, they had a big donor. They got the guy they wanted. I don't know what else I can say.
Yeah. Here's another interesting case. Matt Sluka, who probably none of you have heard of, unless you're a UNLV fan, made headlines because he came into UNLV, says he was promised $100,000 in NIL money to transfer from Holy Cross. He says the money never materialized. He walked away, and other athletes are doing that. So if you're an athlete and you're recruited for X number of dollars and then all of a sudden you're 7-0, what's to stop these athletes from saying, I need a raise?
Yeah, like I said before, I think transparency is the biggest thing. And I'm sure Curtis is also seeing how the NCAA is moving with these new rules and potential contracts to hold people accountable for what they say. And it's just tough giving your word now, because there's so many things promised, you don't know what's true. And so they might have given their word to go to that school for that opportunity, and maybe it didn't come true, and they're trying to save their body, you know, for the draft.
Well, that may be if the draft is the end goal, but at the same time, shouldn't fans and alumni who've come to expect some sort of a commitment from athletes? If an athlete is a glorified employee, which is, some say should happen, shouldn't they have some sort of a commitment to stay at the school for a period of time?
Absolutely. Just giving your word and loyalty to, you know, where you signed. You know, I think that's a big deal, and you work so hard to go there. I think that means a lot. At the same time, I think the fans need to understand the player's perspective. As a coach like myself, I listen to parents and players all the time. And transparency is so huge, which some things the fans might not know, what they're, giving their bodies up for every day.
All right, Curtis, let's have you weigh in on the transfer portal. Once upon a time, if an athlete wanted to transfer, and you know this, it was a big deal. You had to jump through a lot of hoops. Now with the portal, if an athlete has a beef with their coach, isn't starting or isn't getting enough NIL money or can get more NIL money somewhere else, they can enter the portal. Isn't that dangerous?
I want to touch on the coaching situation first real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
We see coaches sign 5-6-year contracts. Year 2, they start winning. Guess what? Bigger school comes in, more money. Coach says, see you later, school. I'm going to go make some more money. And so why are we requiring players to commit solidly for 4 or 5 years if a coach can just up and leave at that point in time? Now we talk about the transfer portal. I think there was a little bit of a clause if a coach left. But I think I could have actually potentially used the transfer portal. I got my bachelor's of ag in May of 2008. But then I had 2 years to go play. Look at Russell Wilson. I think it was NC State to Wisconsin or vice versa. You could have transferred if your starting school didn't have the graduate degree you wanted, is the way it was explained to me. So Mizzou did everything they could to help me find a graduate program I liked because they didn't want me to leave and go elsewhere.
Well, you post I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The transfer portal is what makes NIL look bad. In all actuality, the NCAA was too iron fist on their transfer portal situation. Like I heard of athletes that had mothers with cancer and they wanted to transfer to a school closer to home, and NCAA said, nope, you're going to lose a year of eligibility. So in my opinion, transfer portal is NCAA's own fault.
August, do you agree with that the transfer portal is the danger here, not necessarily generating money from a collective for a player to be paid if he's helping generate revenue for the school, but then if that player is disgruntled, disillusioned, to simply transfer away?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I don't see college as a 4-year deal. I think you're there for maybe, 6 to 8 months, and you hope that you work as hard as you can and you could stay there maybe another year if it works out. Like you said, coaches leave too, and so can players now. And in my eyes, you're there for 6 to 8 months, and you're just working as hard as you can to hopefully stay there. But, things happen. So every single day, things are being evaluated. How you play, what are the coaches doing? Are they matching their word? Are the players doing these things too to meet the expectations? But as far as I'm concerned, every 6 to 8 months, anything could happen.
Well, I'll tell you who I feel sorry for, guys, and this will be the last word for both of you, and we'll keep it quick. I feel bad for the kid who is a great athlete, but not the ultimate athlete, and misses out on that scholarship because player A got NIL money to go to that school, and then he walks after a year because he's fighting with the coach, and that kid did not get the scholarship at that school because the blue chip athlete took it, and then when he couldn't get the deal he wanted, he walked away. Do you agree with that, or am I off base?
If it's very hard to get an opportunity to play Division I now, and with the pandemic hitting, it's even less. So I would say any chance you could take, any opening you could take, you can make your name at a JUCO, NAIA, D1, D2, D3 now, and make some noise. So really, this is the new landscape we're in.
Okay. August, thank you for coming in. Curtis, great stuff. Appreciate your weighing in from all the way back in Missouri. Appreciate both of your time.